What is up, my Domaniacs? Today we're going to be taking a very cool look at the Star Wars The Black Series Force Unleashed gaming greats, Lord Starkiller from Hasbro. Can't say that I'm too surprised that we're getting this considering all the love that Hasbro has been giving to Starkiller over the past couple years. Not as much as I think I or other people would want, but I mean, it's there. It's there. The love for Starkiller is there. And this is another addition to the Force Unleashed collection from Gaming Greats, no less, which is just really crazy that this is where the Gaming Greats line has come. I mean, this is a great thing. I think this is really cool. I mean, the quality of this release, the quality of this character selection, just really shocking stuff, and I mean that in a positive way. And so let's take a look at the figure in the box. Really nice packaging. This is a deluxe Black Series figure. You see here Lord Starkiller. And we got these two hands down here, and then all the lightsabers, man. How many lightsabers is that? Like 6 lightsabers? That's pretty nuts. That's pretty nuts. Look here on the side to get a good shot of the mural art. This is some really cool mural art, honestly. I really like this. Turn it to the back here, and we get a little side profile of the mural art that we just saw, and then we get like a little bio here. Nothing really too important. So yeah, let's get this guy open and see what he's all about. So getting a look at this guy. Very cool presentation, I gotta say. Helmet looks awesome. Shoulder pieces look awesome. Going down here into this design. I just love this design. I just think this is a very cool design. It kind of encapsulates everything about Darth Vader, Starkiller, Anakin even from Revenge of the Sith. I mean, you know, like with like the kind of more Revenge of the Sith gloves here. And then we get these like Freddy Krueger claws, which is kind of cool. And then, you know, we get the shoulder pads, a little bit reminiscent of Vader. We get this like helmet, a little bit reminiscent of Vader. You know, and then obviously like the this suit and everything. I love the way that this kind of goes in, like the stitching kind of like crosses to create kind of like a V pattern going in, and then this is going up. I mean, it's a really cool design. I just think it looks great. It's very toyetic. I mean, it totally makes sense making this into a figure. I mean, it had to be made into a figure. It's just so cool. Initially, I thought looking into the helmet that this like hair piece here was on a ball joint inside the helmet, kind of like Prince Shizor or something, but it is not, which is okay. I'm not like, oh my god, Hasbro not giving us a ball joint on hair is unacceptable. Like, I'm not doing that. But I've heard people say that the sculpt here is a little bit inaccurate. I mean, I wouldn't know. I never played as the DLC for Lord Starkiller, so I mean, I'm not super familiar with this appearance, but I've known about it for years. But I mean, I don't really know what his back looks like exactly, but this looks pretty good to me. I mean, I don't really have a problem with this. And in terms of articulation, you got this awesome shoulder pad technology. I'm telling you, the Black Series got so much better when they started implementing this shoulder technology, so stormtroopers, clone troopers could actually like lift their arms up. And you've got like a tiny butterfly in there, which is pretty cool. Elbows go up about this much, a little bit more than 90 degrees. And what's great about this design is with the Mandalorians, you got to worry about tubing going up into the arm, and when you move the elbow up, it breaks. You know, oh, be careful, you don't want to break it. Well, the thing with this is the tubing is completely on the forearms, so there's no risk of ripping the tubing. So that's a great design choice there. It worked out well design-wise that the tubing is not going up into his elbow like the Mandalorians, because that's still a challenge that Hasbro faces with the Black Series and Mandalorian characters. The ball joints here on the wrist are probably some of the best ball joint action I've seen on a Black Series figure so far that I own personally. Like, oh my god, you get so much rotation here, man. You can just do so much stuff with that. That is really great. And then the neck articulation, you've got joint there, and then a joint up in the head. Nothing too crazy. And then get about that much back. Yeah, about that much. And then about that much forward. So not a whole lot in the sternum, but it's as much as you really need. I don't really think you need more than that. And then going down here into the legs. No thigh cut, but that's okay because I actually think the ball joint in here gets you a little bit more motion than I've noticed in some Black Series figures utilizing that sculpt. Here into the knees, you get a lot articulation in the knees there. And then we get a boot cut, which is nice. And then some rockers. And you get a lot of articulation in the foot. Which is really, really nice. I also didn't mention this, but there's also a cut in the glove. So the glove can move separately from this elbow joint up here going in to the bicep-tricep area. That is really cool. They didn't even need to do that, but they did, and I respect that they did that. Now to the thing that everybody's most excited about when it comes to this figure is the wired apron. This is pretty cool. There's actually a pretty thick wire in here too, which is something I've always kind of worried about with like wired capes and stuff like that. That's kind of why I really don't mind the Black Series hasn't implemented a whole lot of wire technology, because, you know, I get kind of nervous about like the degradation of certain parts on a figure, but the wire in here is pretty thick, so I'm not really that worried. In terms of accessories, we get these extra hands, gripping hands for the lightsabers, which is awesome, because you're definitely not going to be able to get a lightsaber into those open force hands. And man, it is so awesome that they included hands with this, because, you know, I would have liked this figure a lot, even just with the gripping hands with the lightsabers. But man, I'm so glad that we have the option of force hands or gripping hands. This is deluxe. This is actually what I would consider to be, like, nearing deluxe quality. So, first one is Lord Starkiller's main lightsaber. The hilt here kind of painted up, and it's got these, like, crowned parts coming up. I like the longer hilt. I think that's pretty dope. Whose do we have here? That's right. It is Darth Vader. This is a new sculpt too, because the ring is not here on the top part of the lightsaber. It's actually here on the bottom, which makes sense, obviously. And then we've got like the little knob here. This is really, really cool. Obviously, you got this from Vader after Vader's fall in The Force Unleashed. And I believe this is Ram Kota's lightsaber. I appreciate that they did paint it up. Looks really nice. Maybe it's like a leather hand grip for the lightsaber blade there. Then we have the original Galen Merrick Starkiller lightsaber hilt right here with the lightsaber blade. Looks nice. It's a little bit more of a dull gray plastic color than the past Starkiller releases of this exact hilt that we've seen. But you know what? I'll take it. It's really not that bad. It doesn't look terrible. Not as painted as I'd like it to be, and still kind of in that duller gray plastic. Maybe they could have added the black lines, but they did add the red dots on the buttons, which is cool. This is Darth Maul's hilt, and they added the little clip at the end, which is nice, because he's going to need that to hold down on his belt. I'm not really sure whose lightsaber this is. Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to know, because I'm too lazy to look it up, but this is a pretty cool, unique-looking lightsaber hilt. It's kind of fat, just plain black. Looks cool. It's kind of like a filler lightsaber hilt, I'd say, for the belt, but it rounds it out and looks cool. So getting a good look at this figure, looking it over, messing with it, posing it, I really like this figure. I mean, I think it's pretty awesome. It's got great articulation, paint apps for the most part where it counts, just an awesome look, 2000s video game, Sith Lord kind of look. It just looks fantastic. The wire in the apron part is just so cool, really makes this figure, and it's like the second Black Series figure with wires in the capes. You know, I hope that they finish it off. I know that these bottom apron parts are technically supposed to be tattered, but I don't really know how they make the wire work in a tattered cloth material like this, so it gets a pass for cosmetic reasoning. Like, you know, it's understandable. I also know some people were kind of upset about the chest and shoulder plate armor not really matching the metallic tones of the helmet, and, you know, that doesn't really bother me too much. It's not as egregious of a color difference as with the Black Series Jango Fett. I think that was abysmal. I think the thing that kind of does bother me about this is my only real gripe about this figure is I wish they would have had the yellow stripes on the helmet that are supposed to be present there. I think for charging a deluxe price for a figure that everybody wants and you're probably only going to do one time, you should really try to knock it out of the park and just complete the paint apps on the figure. Like, I can overlook this, I can overlook the kind of duller silver plastics on the hilts, but come on. Like, you know, just finish the paint job on the figure that people are paying full deluxe price for. But other than that, I really enjoy everything else about this figure. It's just awesome. Looks really, really cool. And it's going to look great on my video game shelf of Black Series figures. I guess you could say my gaming greats shelf. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know down in the comments. Is this your favorite Starkiller appearance? Did you play the Force Unleashed games? Do you like the Force Unleashed? What do you think about the Black Series Gaming Greats line lately? I think the Gaming Greats line has really blossomed in a great way. Let me know what you thought about the poses down in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Really helps the algorithm push me around to different people, so y'all can keep seeing cool content like this. I've got the Black Series 2-pack of Darth Trey and Darth Nihilus coming up pretty soon, so stay tuned for that as well. And Devonius,